This is a Code Ninja security advisory. If you own a Steam Deck, an ROG Ally, a Legion Go, or pretty much any other Linux-based gaming handheld, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen up. This is a critical security briefing you absolutely need to hear.
Okay, let's get right into it. A nasty vulnerability has been found that allows for something we call local privilege escalation. So what does that actually mean? Well, think of it like this. A malicious app, some little gremlin, gets onto your device as a guest, but then it finds a hidden master key, a key that gives it the power to do literally anything it wants, even act as you, the owner. That's the threat here. A low-level app can gain total control of your device. And the source of this vulnerability? It's a piece of software called InputPlumber. Now, you've probably never heard of it, but it's basically the digital nervous system for your handheld. It's the thing that translates every single button press, every joystick flick, into what you see on the screen. And because of that, it has access to everything, running with the highest possible system privileges. And look, this isn't some obscure piece of software on a niche device. It is a core component in some of the most popular handhelds out there. If you're holding a Steam Deck, an ROG Ally, a Legion Go, really any of the devices you see here, your machine is on the list of potentially affected hardware. So, how in the world does an attacker actually get in? Well, this wasn't just one simple mistake. It was more like a chain of security failures, where one link broke, then another, leaving a door completely wide open. Let's walk through exactly how it happened. This really shows you how the problem evolved. At first, with the initial vulnerability, there was literally no lock on the door. Any app could just walk up and tell InputPlumber what to do. No questions asked. So the developers added a lock. But, and this is the crazy part, that fix introduced an even deeper flaw. The new lock wasn't just broken, it was also turned off by default. Now, this broken lock is what we in the security world call a race condition. I want you to imagine a bouncer at a club checking your ID. You show him a perfectly valid one. In that split second he looks away to wave you in, you swap places with someone who shouldn't be there. See, the system checks one thing, but it acts on another. We call that a time of check to time of use attack, or TOC2 for short. And this is exactly how that race plays out. An attacker's app makes a request and shows its process ID. Think of it as a temporary license plate. But then the app immediately quits. The operating system, just trying to be efficient, recycles that same license plate and instantly gives it to a new high-privilege system process. By the time InputPlumber's security check finishes, it looks again, sees the privileged license plate, and says, "Oh, you're legit." And then it grants the attacker's original malicious request. Game over. So what's the blast radius here? What can an attacker actually do if they win this race? Well, the damage is serious. They could inject keystrokes, which means they can literally start typing commands as you, open up a terminal and run malicious code. They could start reading sensitive files that they should never have access to. Or they could just crash the input service entirely, locking you completely out of your own device. Okay, that's the threat. It's real. Now for the solution. This is without a doubt the most important part of this entire advisory. Here's what you need to do to secure your device right now. So how do you protect yourself from all this? The good news is you can, but it's going to require your immediate action. These steps are not suggestions. They are not optional. You must update your system's InputPlumber package to version 0.69.0 or higher. If you're a Steam Deck user, this fix is right there in the SteamOS 3.7.20 beta update, and it will be in every stable release after that. Go to your system settings, check for updates, and install it now. This is the only way to close that door and fix the broken lock. And if you need any more convincing about how severe this was, just look at this quote. It's from the SUSE security team who actually discovered the flaw. They said that before the patch, quote, all InputPlumber debus methods can be considered accessible by all users in the system without authentication. That is a complete and total breakdown of a critical security boundary. Okay, now that you know how to get patched and safe, let's pull back the curtain a little. Because this story isn't just about a bug. It's also about the ethical, professional process of white hat security research that ultimately protected millions of users just like you. This whole advisory is possible because of something called Coordinated Vulnerability Disclosure, or CVD. See, instead of finding this flaw and dropping it on the internet for criminals to use, the researchers did the right thing. They went privately to the developers, giving them time to build and test a fix before telling the public. This ensures that a patch is ready the very moment the danger is revealed. And this timeline shows that process in action. The SUSE security team found the flaw back in November and immediately reported it. All through December, they worked hand in hand with the developers, and by January, the patches were ready, they were integrated, and only then was the full disclosure made public. This is how responsible security is done. And the fixes themselves? They were smart. They were surgical. First, they killed the race condition by switching from that recyclable process ID to a secure identifier that can't be spoofed. Second, they finally turned that security lock on by default. And third, they added extra hardening to the whole system just to shrink the blast radius of any potential future bugs. So the immediate threat is contained. The patch is out there. But a vulnerability like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's actually a symptom of a much larger trend in software security. And believe me, it's a trend that matters far beyond the world of gaming. 9,468. Take a look at that number. It's not a new high score. It's a warning. That's the number of vulnerabilities from last year that were so complex, so deeply buried, or just so badly miscategorized that security experts had to go back and reanalyze them just to figure out what the real problem was. We're not just swatting simple bugs anymore. We're finding cracks in the very foundation of our software. And this signals a major shift into what some analysts are calling the quality era of security. We're moving away from finding simple typos in code. The new frontline, the new battleground is in the complex middleware, the digital plumbing, just like InputPlumber, that connects all the different parts of our incredibly complicated devices. The InputPlumber vulnerability was found and it was fixed, thanks to dedicated researchers, the white hat ninjas of the digital world. But their work really brings up a critical question for all of us. As our technology gets more and more complex, who is watching the code that connects it all together? Stay vigilant out there.